Imagine stepping into a world where houses aren't just homes. They're straight out of a fairy tale. Twisted rooftops, glowing stained glass, hobbit-like burrows, and even a house built between two massive boulders. These places don't just break the rules of architecture, they transport you to a fantasy realm. Today, we're exploring 7 of the quirkiest, most magical houses that look like they belong in a storybook. Which one would you live in? Let's dive into the world of real-life fairy tales. The Spadena House, Beverly Hills, California. Picture this. You're strolling through the luxurious streets of Beverly Hills surrounded by sleek modern mansions, when suddenly you stumble upon something straight out of a Grimm's fairy tale. A house with twisted slanted rooftops, crooked windows, and a weathered storybook charm. Meet the Spadena House, or as locals call it, the Witch's House. Built in 1921 by Hollywood art director Harry Oliver, this quirky home wasn't just a random build. It was originally a film studio office before it was relocated to its current spot. And let's be honest, it looks like a witch could walk out at any moment, cackling as she stirs a bubbling cauldron inside. The house's asymmetrical design, exaggerated peaks, and dark timber framing give it a deliberately spooky, whimsical feel. Over the years, ivy has crept up its walls, the wooden shutters look like they've seen centuries of secrets, and the front door? It's like stepping into a Hansel and Gretel nightmare minus the candy but full of eerie charm. Even Hollywood has taken notice. This house has made cameos in films and TV shows, reinforcing its reputation as the most magical yet haunting house in Los Angeles. Would you dare knock on its door, or would you half expect it to creak open on its own? The Hobbiton homes, Matamata, New Zealand. Imagine waking up, stepping outside, and being greeted by rolling green hills, colorful round doors, and the smell of fresh earth in the air. No, this isn't a dream, it's Hobbiton, a place where fantasy becomes reality. Nestled in Matamata, New Zealand, these charming grass-roofed homes look like they were plucked straight from the pages of J.R.R. Tolkien's books. Because, well, they kind of were. Originally built as a temporary set for The Lord of the Rings, Hobbiton was too magical to destroy, so, instead of tearing it down, it was transformed into a real walkable village, complete with tiny curved wooden doors, rustic chimneys, and winding stone pathways. It's as if Bilbo Baggins himself might invite you in for a second breakfast. Every detail is designed to make you feel like you're in Middle-earth. The lantern-lit gardens, moss-covered fences, and barrels stacked outside the Green Dragon Inn all add to the immersive magic. Whether you're a hardcore Tolkien fan or just love fairy tale-like villages, Hobbiton is an actual, real-world escape into a storybook fantasy. Would you prefer a quiet life in one of these cozy burrows, sipping tea and reading by candlelight? Or would you set off on an epic adventure? Because in Hobbiton, both are possible. Anne Hathaway's Cottage, Warwickshire, England. Step into a scene straight out of a Shakespearean love story, a thatched roof cottage, wrapped in blooming roses, surrounded by rolling green fields and whispering oak trees. This isn't just any cottage. This is Anne Hathaway's cottage, the childhood home of Shakespeare's wife and the ultimate fairy tale retreat. Located in Warwickshire, England, this 12-room, half-timbered farmhouse is over 500 years old, yet it still stands as a living piece of history. The weathered wooden beams, leaded glass windows, and charmingly uneven brickwork give it an almost storybook-like perfection. It's the kind of place where you'd expect to see a wandering bard strumming a lute or a horse-drawn carriage waiting by the gate. Inside, the floors creak with centuries of secrets, and every corner holds echoes of the past, perhaps even whispers of Shakespeare's love letters. The gardens are just as dreamy, with winding stone paths, fragrant lavender, and towering trees that seem to hum with poetry. Whether you're a hopeless romantic, a history buff, or just someone who dreams of escaping to an English countryside fantasy, Anne Hathaway's Cottage is as close to a real-life fairy tale as it gets. If you could step through its doors, would you stay for a day or forever? The Crazy House, Da Lat, Vietnam. Imagine stepping into a house that defies logic, bends reality, and feels like it was sculpted by a dream. Welcome to the Crazy House in Da Lat, Vietnam, a place where architecture meets pure imagination. Officially named Hang Nha Guest House, this isn't just a home, it's an otherworldly maze of twisting staircases, cave-like hallways, and tree-like structures that make you feel like you've wandered into a psychedelic fairy tale. Designed by architect Dang Viet Nha, this surreal masterpiece was built with the idea of blurring the lines between nature and structure. The walls aren't straight, the windows come in bizarre organic shapes, and instead of doors leading to normal rooms, they guide you through a labyrinth of hidden nooks, sky bridges, and spiral tunnels. Every corner feels like a portal to a different world. One moment, you're inside a giant spider's web. The next, you're walking through a tree trunk with giant mushrooms growing out of the walls. It's like Alice in Wonderland meets Salvador Dali, with a hint of a haunted fairy tale thrown in for good measure. Would you dare spend a night here? Or would you worry that, by morning, the walls might have shifted into something entirely new? The Stone House, Fafe, Portugal. Ever dreamed of living in a house straight out of the Flintstones? Well, in the rolling hills of Fafe, Portugal, there exists a real-life prehistoric fantasy. A house literally carved between two giant boulders. Meet the Stone House. A structure so rugged and surreal that it blends seamlessly with nature, making it look like it was sculpted by the earth itself. Built in 1974 as a countryside retreat, this bizarre home is both primitive and futuristic, with thick stone walls that could probably withstand the apocalypse. No concrete, no bricks, just two massive rocks holding up a cozy, Hobbit-like dwelling. From the outside, it appears as if it's been sitting there for thousands of years, untouched by time. But don't let the exterior fool you. Inside, you'll find a snug, rustic interior with wooden furnishings, a fireplace, and even bulletproof windows. That's right, over the years the house became a bit of a tourist attraction, prompting its owners to fortify it against unwanted visitors. Is it a house? A sculpture? A piece of ancient history? Maybe all three. But one thing's for sure. If fairytale giants needed a vacation home, this would be it. Would you spend a night here, surrounded by nothing but the wind, the hills, and the stars? The Nautilus House, Mexico City, Mexico. Imagine waking up inside a seashell where the walls swirl around you like ocean waves and sunlight streams through a stained glass mosaic, painting the room in a kaleidoscope of colors. Welcome to the Nautilus House, a home that looks and feels like it was built for an underwater fairy tale. Designed by architect Javier Senocien, this nature-inspired masterpiece is more than just a house. It's a living, breathing piece of art. With curved walls, spiral hallways, and organic shapes, it throws the entire idea of traditional architecture out the window. There are no sharp edges, no flat surfaces, just smooth, flowing lines that make you feel like you're walking through a dream. The entrance, a gigantic, shell-shaped doorway. The floors, a soft, grassy carpet that blends seamlessly with the lush indoor gardens. And the windows, vibrant stained glass panels that transform sunlight into a rainbow spectacle. Everything about this place feels alive, playful, and surreal, like stepping into a Dr. Seuss book or a mermaid's hidden sanctuary. Would you trade a regular home for this organic wonderland, where every day feels like a fantasy beneath the waves? The Fairytale Cottage, Woodstock, New York. Tucked away in the enchanted forests of Woodstock, New York, there's a cottage so whimsical, so utterly magical, that it looks like it escaped from the pages of a fantasy novel. With curved rooftops, arched wooden doors, and ivy-draped stone walls, this fairytale cottage isn't just a house, it's a portal to another world. Step inside, and you'll feel like you've wandered into a forgotten fairy tale. The warm glow of lanterns flickers against hand-carved wooden beams, while a spiral staircase winds up to a cozy loft. The windows, rounded and rustic, as if waiting for a tiny woodland creature to peek through. Every inch of this home is crafted with old-world charm, blending medieval fantasy and fairy tale aesthetics into a masterpiece of architecture. Outside, the cottage is surrounded by towering trees, moss-covered pathways, and a gentle stream that babbles like a whispering spell. On misty mornings, the landscape feels otherworldly, as if elves or wandering knights might appear at any moment. This isn't just a house, it's a storybook brought to life. A place where the ordinary fades away and magic lingers in the air. The only question is, if you stumbled upon it deep in the woods, would you dare knock on the door? And that wraps up our journey through these real-life fairy tale homes. Which one was your favorite? Would you live in a cozy hobbit hole or a whimsical woodland cottage? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more amazing architectural wonders. This is DwellScape, bringing you the most unique homes from around the world. See you in the next video.